Congressman Bowman, thank you for taking a couple of extra minutes with us. I almost wanted to offer you an expanded closing statement. I know us timekeepers, we can be real sticklers up there, but what do you hope people really take away from watching this evening?
Yeah, well, I hope people take away that this race is really about the many versus the money. It's about the working class people, the people in the district who have felt ignored for a very long time versus powerful, very wealthy special interests, mostly Republican billionaires who are trying to buy this seat from the people and bombard the people with advertisements and mailers to paint me as this bad person in Congress. We've brought over $1 billion to the district, and we've invested in areas like housing, mental health, health care, violence reduction, dealing with the issue of reducing gun violence, workforce development, and so many other programs. And so my opponent rarely talks about health care. He rarely talks about concrete things he's done for affordable housing. He rarely talks about the issues that the people of the district most care about, reducing gun violence, affordability. And he doesn't talk about affordability because he works for Republican right-wing billionaires who are spending more money in this race than any PAC has ever spent in the history of our country. And so that's the contrast. It's the many versus the money. It's the working class versus the wealthy. And in order
if I could, please, Mr. Latimer, I'm sure would push back by this by saying, I think something, we counted something like 6 or 7 times, just said, you are lying about his record. I think people hear that over and over and over. Why should people not believe that?
Yeah, well, that's the point, right? So he says, I'm lying, but then doesn't go into anything really substantive to defend the point that I made against him. You know, so my hope is people really listen to the content and understand that I didn't just name places in terms of places I've worked. I've named people I worked in collaboration with, money I brought in, programs we've started very specifically. And I've only been in Congress 3 years. I would argue that I've done more in 3 years than he's done over his 35-year career, especially as it relates to equity. If we don't have equity, we don't have a democracy.
Beginning with equity, is that how you view the way that you have governed? And if so, why do you think, based on our polling, with all due respect, a poll is a poll, the real poll is on Election Day, right. But why do you think maybe more people aren't seeing that?
I disagree that more people aren't seeing that. And again, a poll's a poll, the real poll is Election Day. You know, we've governed from the perspective of equity from the very beginning. You know, the ads have been astronomical, and I think it's influencing some people. Hopefully it doesn't influence all people. And then the issue of Gaza and me calling for a permanent ceasefire, that's the reason why he's running. That's the reason why he was recruited by a right-wing organization, AIPAC, to run in this race. And they're being dishonest to the voters by not running ads about Israel because they know the people aren't with them on that issue. They're running ads about votes I've taken 3 years ago on bills that actually passed and aren't hurting our district. And they're lying about my relationship with Biden. I work very closely with the president on the CHIPS and Science Act, the American Rescue Plan. I even brought him to the district to campaign for Governor Hochul when I was a freshman. And so he's not telling the truth.
Mr. Bowman, thank you for your time. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.